live from beautiful Casa de Clark in Independence, Iowa. It's Unemployed with your host, Matt Clark. Promotional consideration for this episode paid for by the National Institute for the Study of Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy. The style. Huh? What? Oh, sorry. And now here's your host, Matt Clark.
You're excited. Calm down. Yeah, relax. Yeah. The dog, it's the dog. It's Max the Wonder Dog. Look at him go. Look at him crazy. Calm down. Greetings, Internet, YouTube, children of all. It is I, your unemployed superhero. It is the 22nd of November. I'm not sure I'm even going to take count anymore of what day it is. It's like 47, something like that. They say after 30 you stop counting anyway. Anywho, it is Tuesday. Before we get going on the show, the channel, a couple of thoughts from television last night. I watched Raw last night, the wrestling show. Goldberg apparently is going to be in the Royal Rumble. Prediction. Here's my prediction. You ready for it? Here's my prediction. You're not going to hear from Brock at all on the lead up to the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's, I think, in a couple of months, something like that. You're not going to hear anything about Brock up into the Royal Rumble. Not a word. This is my prediction. Brock is going to cost Goldberg the Royal Rumble victory. Somehow, some way. Goldberg's going to come out and kill everybody, and then Brock's going to come out and cheat Goldberg to cost him the Royal Rumble. All right? Which is going to set up the Brock-Goldberg rematch for WrestleMania. You heard it here first. This is what's going to happen. I haven't read that anywhere. I don't know anybody. But just being a wrestling fan for 40 some odd years, I just took a shower. I got some water in my ear. For 40 some odd years, this is what's going to happen. I know Vince. I know the way he thinks. Goldberg and Brock is a WrestleMania rematch. Vince wants it. He saw how much money he made for Survivor Series, and now he wants to double down on it. So there you go. Second thing I want to talk about. I also watched Monday Night Football last night. Raiders and Texans. Good game, by the way. Hate to break it to everybody, though. I don't think the Raiders can beat the Patriots. Personally. They just can't. I don't think they can stop the Patriots offense, which really you have to do. You at least got to slow the Patriots down. Oh, I got water in my ear. Do you hate that when you take a shower and you get water in your ear? To beat the Patriots, you got to slow them down at least, and I don't know if the Raiders' defense is good enough yet to slow them down. So I'm going to say, unfortunately for the NFL fans out there, it's going to be the Patriots in the Super Bowl this year, and they're going to get crushed by either Seattle or, believe it or not, the Cowboys. I'm thinking Seattle, though, is what I'm thinking, Seattle. But anyway, part of the show, they were talking about the fact that they had the game in Mexico City at Stadia Azteca, which I assume means Aztec Stadium. That's my Mexican for you. Spanish, I'm sorry, not Mexican. They made a comment that they thought the Mexican fans might be a little nasty because of the election and the fact that we elected Trump, and the biggest pillar of Trump's presidential campaign was the fact that he hated Mexicans and was going to build a wall and make them pay for it. So you can imagine why the Mexican people might be a little negative. They weren't, by the way. They showed way more class than we gave them credit for. So I think everybody in America needs to applaud the Mexican people for not being stinkers when they had the perfect right to be, by the way. If anybody here watching this voted for Donald, get used to this. If you didn't vote for Donald, get used to the fact that from now until the end of the next 4 years, we're about to be treated like the wife of the guy that has to be invited to family proceedings because they're married to you. In other words, your parents invite you to Thanksgiving, and because you're married to this jackass, you have to bring him along. They don't want him there, but he has to come because they want to see you. You know, he's racist, he's sexist, he's a misogynist. Nobody wants to hear his opinion. You basically have to sit there and chuckle when he makes a stupid comment, while the rest of the table gives you that look like, why the fuck did you marry that asshole? Why do you make us sit and listen to him talk? Meanwhile, you defend him, and he was a good guy when I first met him. It wasn't until the end that he kind of showed me he was a piece of shit. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we're kind of like an abused wife, pretty much. Not to make light of spousal abuse, but America, you're basically now living spousal abuse. So get used to it. You officially are married to the guy that nobody wants to be with you during any kind of formal proceedings. So get you ready to make some excuses for him. That's all I got to say about that. It's Tuesday, like I said, 22nd of November. Max says hi. Nothing going on today. If nothing's ever gone down, today is double that. I spent all morning watching Supernatural on TNT, which saves me the time of looking it up on Netflix and rewatching the series again, at least. Other than that, there's not. Like I said, it's Thanksgiving week, this week and Christmas week and New Year's week. If I'm not employed by those 2 weeks, I don't expect anything to happen because I don't think anybody. Maybe I'm not saying nobody works on Thanksgiving week. There's plenty of people who are busting their asses right now. God bless you. But I can't imagine HR departments and hiring people busting their butts too much this week to get somebody hired on. I don't see any job interviews happening this week, at the very least. If I hear anything, it'll probably be next week, I'm assuming. If I hear anything next week, even. Like I said, we're getting close to Christmas. I really worry if anything's going to shake loose before Christmas, so. I also did some research last night. One of the companies that I have a question mark about, I looked them up again online, and from what I've seen, if some websites like Indeed.com will actually tell you how many people applied for the job through Indeed, if the company turned that on where you can apply, send them your resume through Indeed. And from what it was saying, like 25 plus people sent their resumes to this company. And they're a small company to begin with. So that explains why I haven't heard anything in like a month from these people. If I hear anything at all. That's a lot of competition. I am 42 years old. I am going to be asking for probably the 40s at least to support my lifestyle. I have a car to pay for. I got a house to pay for. 40s at least to make my life non-poverty. I'm sure they'll find somebody much cheaper than me in that 25 plus. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in the 0 and 5 column. I'm going to officially make them the 5th in the 0 and 5 column. Not to be negative or anything, but we'll say 0 for 5. And just move on from there. We got some buns in the oven, but like I said, I don't expect to hear anything. One of them for sure, if I'm even going to get an interview, won't be till probably next month. So I'll just sit back there and let that all play out. I actually got a lot of responses from the last video I did. So I thought, well, I think it's time for a new segment. Are you ready? I think it's time. I'm not sure I'm going to do it every week because it's a lot of material to go through every day of every week. Maybe once a week I'll just do it. But it's time for the new
Cartoon
and improved
characters
Unemployed and
you
our
want
new,
to have a three-way with.
Our new segment. Yes, it's what cartoon character would I have a three-way with? Combining two things that men do all the time. One, think about having sex with a woman that there's no way in the universe they could ever have sex with them. In this case, they're a cartoon character. And two, said woman then having a three-way with them. Two things that will never happen. So, I thought for the first segment, we would go back to the beginning, which technically this is, so we're not going too far back, and talk about the character that inspired this entire insanity. And no, it's not Betty Rubble.
Lana Kane.
That's just who I talked
From
about.
the hit cartoon
The real
series
character that inspired
Archer.
all this is... That's right, Lana, from the cartoon Archer. That's all over the TV right now. Lana's cool because she technically covers 3 areas of porn. 1, 3 ways. 2, cartoon sex, which is a pornographic subgenre. Look it up. And 3, interracial porn. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, whoa, slow down. Slow your roll here, Clark. How could you possibly see interracial porn as another subgenre of porn? We've come a long way in this country, you know. There's interracial couples on television. There's gay couples on television. There's transgender couples on television. There's more interracial couples and transgender and gay couples in public than in the past. So technically, is interracial porn really a subgenre of porn anymore? Isn't it just porn now? And I say, yeah, I see your argument. But we just elected Donald Trump. And gay marriage isn't legal across the country. Well, I guess it is. The federal government made it legal, I guess. But yeah, we're not as evolved as you think we are in this country. Trust me on that one. Interracial porn is still a subgenre of porn. Trust me on. In fact, interracial three-way is actually, could be a 4th. If I brought in a Chinese cartoon character into all this, so it'd be me, a Chinese porn cartoon character, and then Lana would be like a 3-way, 3-racial thing. Second question you've got, other than why am I doing this? That's the first one. Secondly, you're asking yourself, you're saying self. So what kind of three-way are we talking? We talking about the devil's three-way? That's two guys, spit roasting, as it's known. That's two guys and a girl, spit roasting. Use your imagination. I love that. That's my favorite porn term, by the way, spit roasting. That's just fantastic. The second question you're asking yourself right now. When am I going to come to my senses? Is it a guy, two guys and a girl, or two girls and a guy? I found it differs with men. Some men like the devil's three-way because they like to watch a little bit. And some men prefer the two women, one guy because they think it's like a buffet. The problem is, though, with two girls and one guy, is that you don't realize it, but the one in the 2-on-1 in the equation there is the one doing all the work, really. They're the one being used in this equation. So if you're the one guy with two girls, first of all, the two girls could have just as much fun on their own, with or without you. Just so you know. So, deal with that. Yeah, they can buy machinery and just like push you out. So I'm not going to specify what type with Lana or any cartoon character. Use your own imagination. In the Betty Rubble scenario, it was a devil's three-way. It was two guys and a girl, me and Barney, going to town on Betty. So yeah, we'll go Archer, myself, and Lana. The question would be in that three-way, I know Lana and Archer in the cartoon series had a little bit of sexual tension, so we're going back to that fifth wheel thing. Lana's a mom now in the cartoon series, so should she even submit herself to it is a good question. Plus, if you watch the Archer cartoon, most of the men that Lana's dealt with were, shall we say, packing the heat. And I'm a white guy. So, do I have the caliber to really make Lana happy? That's a good question, too. But like I said, for cartoon characters, Lana's pretty hot. You gotta admit. Yeah, that's all I got for there. So Lana of Archer, the official first cartoon character you want to have a three-way with. If you've never seen Archer, it's on YouTube, it's on FX, it's on Comedy Central, it's on Netflix. Look it up. It's incredibly offensive. This conversation would fit in the cartoon very well. You could see Lana yourself. And there's more characters from Archer coming in this list down the line. Trust me on that one. But for now, we'll leave it at Lana. This has been Tuesday, the 22nd of November. I believe I've insulted your intelligence enough. Working on another interview for an upcoming show. By the way, those interviews are a pain in the ass. Just trust me, the editing alone is a nightmare. In fact, this video right now is about 18 minutes long. It'll probably take me a good hour to upload it to YouTube because I have a shitty internet connection. It's decent, but it's not blazingly fast internet, so that's why I keep these videos somewhat short, because I did my Survivor Series video was a half an hour long, and it took literally an hour and a half to upload. That hurt. So that's why. You have a good Tuesday. I shall be back soon. Thinking about doing some other videos besides just this one to bide my time. There's been some guitar questions come my way through the email. In fact, if you have a question and you're watching this, I'll put my email down here. A couple of folks out there already have it. It's in my channel somewhere. But I'll put it in here if you want to email me. Feel free. I got the time on my hands. I just talked about having a 3-way with a cartoon character. So obviously I have the time on my hands. So yeah, give me a call. Or an email. Whatever. By the way, I watched the news the other night, and apparently Tuesday morning in Japan, which had been Monday night here in the States, a 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit Japan. There was a tsunami warning that I don't think turned into much of a tsunami. Not like the one back in 2011. But apparently the same nuclear reactor that was damaged in 2011 and melted down was damaged again in this tsunami, which I find quite surprising, to be honest with you. Because, you know, if there's anybody in the world who you would think would be, you know, fearful or would question nuclear power, I think I swallowed a bug, or would question nuclear power, you think it would be the Japanese. Too soon? Swallowed a bug, by the way. Tuesday. Keep Japan in your prayers. We'll see you tomorrow.